authentic. The main nose and main gear doors are always in the closed position as long as there's hydraulic pressure to the aircraft, whether the gear be up or down. So as the gear starts its transit move, the doors first must move out of the way, the gear completes its change from the up or down, and then the door resume the closed position. And that took a couple of weeks of difficult work. They're mechanical and they're a little bit complicated, but once they're together, they work real fine.
Tails include wheels that fold up and with the flip of a switch, back down again.
It's a Violet-developed ducted fan system with a Violet and K&B engine company combination. They've reworked the engine, and it's a KBV 82. As I was saying, the engine and power plant combination was designed by Violet and K&B, and it's very, very efficient. The exhaust velocity on the ground is 165 miles an hour. The inlet speed is probably around 180. I don't know the speed of the airplane, somewhere in the 120 to 140 range. But it's served me through 20 flights so far and no flameouts.
Hi, I'm Al Casey. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. This is a Korean MiG-3. This was scratch built off of Alan Spivak plans that were published in our Scale RC Modeler, I think in about '78. I modified the drawings quite a little bit to try and make it more scale-like, but other than that, it was entirely scratch built. Uses an original OS-60 FSR engine. I'm guiding the airplane with a brand spanking new Futaba 1024 7 UAP PCM radio. What was the hardest? The gear doors were the absolute most difficult thing to do on this airplane. They're double articulated. To get them to fold properly and then open up again was really difficult. What was the best thing? Geez, I don't know. I guess just the overall impression of the airplane. It's very clean, it's very sleek. Unlike the full-scale aircraft, it is a great performer. It flies very excellently. I've been accused of even bringing a pattern ship to various scale meets because it does fly so well. It's a little tricky on the ground, but flies extremely well. The aircraft is equipped with fully functional scale exhaust stacks. Both sides, all 6 stacks, will belch smoke when the engine's running. It's something I would probably never try to do again. It was an awful lot of trouble to put it in there, and the primary benefit, if you want to call it that, is that it dirties the entire airplane. In one flight, I have a horrible time trying to clean it up. So, okay, the aircraft was rather lightly armed. It had the equivalent of 2 .30 caliber and 1 .50 caliber machine gun. That combined with an excessive wing loading and light fuel capacity made it not as effective as it might have been as a fighter. Okay, the pilot's wearing an oxygen mask, which is kind of typical because the aircraft was built for high altitude interception. However, it's maybe just a little out of scale because during the Russian invasion, the German invasion of Russia, they actually wound up flying down about 2,500 feet. Frequently, they discarded all the oxygen, radio, and equipment, and even the fuel gauge in this particular airplane, just to try and lighten up the weight.
Okay, my name is John Dorman. All my friends call me Jack. I'm from Fort Walton Beach, Florida. That's about 40 miles east of Pensacola, Florida, in the Florida Panhandle. The airplane that you're looking at right now is a Dave Platt model. The plan I received from Dave, and I built this airplane from his plan. One of the reasons I did that is because I work with Dave, and I also make scale cockpits, guns, and the tank that you see on the bottom of this airplane as a kit, and I'm otherwise known in the industry as JD Scale Models. The airplane is flown with a Super Tiger 2500. It's a standard glow plug airplane engine and flies on airplane fuel, model airplane fuel. The radio I use is a Futaba PCM. It's on a 6-meter band because I happen to be a ham operator. The hardest part of this model, of course, was finishing the model. All of the little details, the things that take the longest to do, the things that you have to do over and over again to make them right, were the hardest part. As far as building the airplane from the plans and the airplane going together, it was done very quickly. Trying to make the airplane look like a metal warbird was extremely long. It wasn't hard, it was just tedious and took a lot of patience and work. The best part of it, of course, is flying the airplane. The airplane flies like a dream. I can't say too much for the designing and the building of Dave Platt. It seems as though any airplane that I build from his kit flies equally as well, and I'm completely satisfied with it. All right, one of the things we were talking about was the nice little things that you add to make an airplane look pretty. This particular airplane has the advantage of having a gun bay. So we went ahead and made scale guns to fit in it just as would be in the regular airplane. These guns are made out of resin parts, wire, plastic, and rubber, and simulate the actual guns that were in the regular Focke-Wulf. All right, as you see again, one of the nice features of this airplane is the fact that the cockpit opens and you can see inside and see all the various details. The cockpit interior, the instruments, the rudder pedals, the stick, and so forth, just as what you would see in the real airplane. This airplane are the scale operating flaps. These flaps are extremely functional and help the plane slow down when you're bringing it in for a landing. And they are made, of course, according to scale specifications. Airplane is completely made out of balsa wood. It's balsa wood construction for the tail, the wings, and the fuselage. There's no foam in it. It has fiberglass cowl, the gun hood, and the covers for the landing gear. The balsa wood is covered with 3-ounce fiberglass and resin, and then painted with airplane K&B model fuel-proof paint. All the colors, of course, are matched to match those chips that you'd find in the prototypical airplane during that period, 1944.
Hi, I'm Frank Pring from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. This particular airplane is an AT-6 Harvard. It's built from Nixeroli plans. It's powered with a G62 Zenoa engine, and the radio I put in it is a Kraft PCM 9 channel. The airplane is equipped with functional brakes, working landing lights, flaps, and retractable landing gear. The airplane weighs 36 pounds. It flies most maneuvers at around half throttle. It flies very smooth, very stable, and in the past it's been a real good winner for me. Okay, the canopy is sliding so that you can, I install two pilots, one in the front, one in the rear when I go into my flight maneuvers. The front and the rear of the canopy are from Nixeroli, and the center section I had to modify because I did a Mark IV version of the Harvard, and Nixeroli's canopy you get is a Mark II. The rest of the airplane, the fuselage is all scratch built, basically stringers and 1/8 aircraft ply, some foam board, and then it's sheeted with 332nd balsa wood. The wings are completely built up. They again are sheeted with 3/4 ounce, well, they're with 332nd balsa wood, and I put Dan Parsons 3/4 ounce cloth over them to give the aluminum-like finish. Okay, this particular model is modeled after a Harvard that is truly dear to my heart. It flies over my house in Canada almost every weekend. The noticeable difference on the Canadian Harvard versus the T6 Texan is you'll notice the exhaust stack. Well, that big long exhaust stack, and you'll notice the rod going into the cockpit. Well, that's your cockpit heat, and in the winter time, in the cold weather, that's what the pilot relies on to keep himself warm up there. The particular markings of this airplane, on one side it says AK, on the other side it says AM. Well, the owner, after he bought it, he had such a high admiration for the people that owned it before him, he put their first initials on, which was AK, and the owner before that was AM. The rondelles are of the Canadian-British markings.
Gene Barton, I'm from Orange County, California. There's a Rick Lewis kit. Yeah, I've got a Futaba 9-channel PCM radio. It's a Bully 35cc. The version that the wings fold, glass center wing, foam outer cores. Rick can explain it better than that, but the kit is offered in a foam wing version, such as a Baker kit. No, it's an excellent flying airplane. It really is. It tracks down the runway real good. I don't have a problem taking it off, such as a Mustang is a Harry.